All right, good afternoon. Let's talk money again. I have not prepared anything. So let's how about we blitz through ideas on money? So what comes to my mind? Cars, jewelry, materials. Material definitely comes to mind. Ethics comes to mind. The proper use of money or the proper way to deal with money. You know what? I want to talk about Dubai. I want to talk about Dubai again. Maybe give a fresh kind of perspective. I talked about the hotel last time, but let me talk about Dubai again. Okay, so I'll tell you one thing, and I'll be very honest. And this is gonna be like start off. Well, this thing will be honest. Okay, when I first went to Cuba, it was a bit of a shock. But it wasn't that crazy because I'd been to Miami already. Okay, when I was a toddler, like a young toddler, I could walk, and I spent some time in Miami, all right, Miami Beach and all that stuff, which is fine. But Cuba didn't feel like anything like. I mean, I took the sun in and everything, but it wasn't like the climate hit me like wow. Yeah, man. Now the beach was very nice. I think it was white sand beach, and the water was nice. I went swimming in the water every morning. You know what I mean? I went swimming every morning that I was in Cuba. I'd wake up, and before taking do a quick shower before you get in the water. Even in the beach, like I'd wake up, go to the beach, swim in the beach like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I'd wake up, go swimming in the beach, come back, eat breakfast, and or take a shower and then eat breakfast. That was my routine. And because I did that in Dominican, I didn't really do swimming much because I did it in Cuba. The water in Cuba is very nice. The beach and the water in Cuba is very nice. But when you go to Havana, so Havana is along a stretch of water, of sea or whatever, or ocean, whatever it is. And then at night, everybody, that whole walkway is packed with people. Everybody comes out at night in Havana, they all go by the sea or the ocean, whatever it is. Havana is like just built like a stretch on water, but it didn't feel anything special. Yeah, okay. Well, Verdero different. Verdero, the sun I got was very nice. I absorbed the sun. Like I fell asleep in the beach chair on the beach where the ocean was. I fell asleep for a couple hours. I burnt my nose. My nose got skin burned. My skin was red. But doesn't matter who you are, that would have burnt you. 3 hours in like sun and falling asleep. Not a good idea, by the way. Now, this was supposed to be about Dubai. I'm gonna have to do another 2-part video. So Dominican felt a little different, yeah. But I went horse riding in the morning in a jungle, forest paths, mountains, and everything. I went horse riding there for like hours. It was quite a horse ride, by the way. It was just me and my guide or whoever the guy was. It was just the two of us. So I rode behind him. And when I got comfortable, anyway, we won't talk about, but basically he guided me through the whole trek, and it lasted like 2 hours or something. And then when we were done, a taxi came, picked me up, and took me back to the resort. Okay, so when we were done, we rode back to the main house where the taxi would pick me up and take me back. Taxi took me there. It was really cool. I still remember feeling my hair was very short, like almost bald, and I felt the sun hitting my head, and I remember feeling I was like, dude, it's changing my hair. Like I could tell that it was changing my hair. My hair was starting to get like this, like thicker texture. My hair used to be silky smooth, like to the point that it was like you just touch it and it would just like silk in little strands come apart, like just silky. And then my hair started getting like thicker and frizzier and stuff, even lighter. Like I started getting a bit of a different kind of color on it, and that was just from the sunlight. And that was the initial reason why I made that trip. I made that trip for the sunlight. I was like, dude, the sunlight in Canada is not the greatest. And it's not really natural. You can't sunbathe in here. There are people who do, and they regret it. It's not good. So I was like, I literally went for the sun. And then and after coming back from Dominican, I was like, dude, I gotta go further south. I went close to the equator, basically. I went to southern Colombia. It's close to the equator. I went close to the equator where it was super hot. It didn't bother me. I used to, like, I was always outside all the time. I remember there was one time where I woke up in the morning and I walked for hours and hours and hours and hours. Just walked for hours and hours, and I made my way back. You know, obviously I rehearsed and practiced my directions in Spanish so that if I needed to ask people, I'd ask people. I had no issue at all because I looked like a Latino. So, you know, they didn't really, and not only that, but I didn't take my clothes with me. I went there and I bought clothes from there. I dressed and looked just like a Latino. So everybody treated me, they treated me like a guest, to be very honest. They treated me like a guest. Now, I was the type of guy, when I was in my level 1 days and I didn't have a presence, I got treated very well as a guest. But when I would overstay, that's when I would get those hints like, you gotta go, you gotta leave now. You know what I mean? But obviously it's a new place, they're gonna treat me well. I'm a guest there. I would show them, yeah. Anyway, so the reason I brought that up was when I landed I remember landing in Colombia, and it was crazy because this was in the south, and it was like an hour drive away from the airport or something, and I had to figure out what I was doing. So right when we got off from the airport, they asked us, where are you going, where are you going, where are you going? And then they bunched us up on, like, honestly, it was one of those trucks that carries migrants across the border. It was like one of those trucks. We were all sitting, it was packed inside, we were all packed up inside. I didn't take that. I had a backpack and a luggage piece with me, like a gym bag with me. That's all I had. So I put it in front of me, and it was all the Colombians. There was no non-foreigners there. They were all Colombians, and we just packed up in there. And they asked us, where are you going? So I knew generally the area I was going. I think the area was called Valle del something. So so I found the right one. We got there, and I was still worried. We get to an area. I'm able to make a phone. I'm able to get a taxi. Luckily, I negotiate with him. I got very good at negotiating in Colombia, by the way. So I negotiate with him, and, you know, he drives me back. I still remember as we're driving, I'm like, where the hell am I right now? I was losing my marbles. I was like, and I just got off the plane. I was all messed up. And it's a long plane ride, by the way. I'm all messed up. Like, where am I? You know, I get to my place. I walk in. I lie down. They had put a fruit basket for me, a welcome fruit basket, which had Colombian fruits in there that you don't get anywhere else. So I got that basket. I lived off of that basket for 2 days straight. For 48 hours, I didn't get up. I laid there on the ground. I was sleeping on a ground mattress, by the way. It wasn't a mat. It was like a cheap, like, couch kind of thing, like a mattress couch, but it wasn't a mat. It was a couch on the ground, and I laid on there, and for 48 hours I didn't get up, only to use the washroom, and I had a shower and everything too, only to use the washroom and to eat those fruits, and they left water for me too, water bottles and juice and stuff like that. So I lived off of that for 48 hours, and I didn't get up. The place hit me like a shock. I literally thought I was on a different planet. And I'm not joking. That's a thought that was in my mind. Literally, I was like, I feel like I'm on a different planet. Nobody's speaking English. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know how to speak English. It's all in a foreign language, in Spanish. It's like I'm in a different part of the world, man. All the hills and valleys were like this, man, all over the place. And there was mountains all behind me. And you could hear these, anyways, it was crazy. It was like a crazy, crazy place. They used to warn tourists and foreigners, even Colombians coming from other cities like Bogota, they warned them to go up in the mountains. They said, do not take your camera with you. People get robbed for it. People get robbed for their cameras and their stuff all the time. I still remember I went to the highest peak of the mountain, and there was a gym set made of concrete stones. So they had a bench made of concrete, and on there they had a bar, right, which was a cement or something, or some kind of metal bar. They had a metal bar with cement as weights at the end for bench press. So they had weights made of cement. And in the mountain was engraved and spray painted and engraved from like 93, 2002, 2003. And I still remember one of them was El Bandito. So it was all the people that were robbing people in the mountains. All the people were robbing. Bandito means robber, by the way, I think so. And they had spray painted that in there. I still remember seeing that. Wow, I didn't know this. I used to not take my phone. I used to not take my phone when I went trekking in there. So running in there is a different situation because every morning there were these group of people who had speed cycles, like how they do in the cyclothons, and they would be like in professional gear, like all their helmet and gear, all their colored gear, and they would be in a group of 20 or 30. They would ride uphill in the mountain and ride back downhill. Because it was excellent for running. It was just for exercise. It was excellent for running and cycling. I got into better shape. Every morning, I would skip a morning every now and then, but every morning I wake up between 4 and 6 a.m. and I go running up in the mountains. So that was the deal. And, but the point is that I felt like I was on a different planet, literally. I was like, where am I? Like, like this place just feels different. It's like, what's going on here, Now I'll tell you why I brought that up. Because when I was the same thing happened when I arrived in Dubai. When I arrived in Dubai, it was the same thing. So my flight first, anyway, I land in Dubai. And there are parts of the city where like it's cement, right? Like all of it is cement, but and there's a lot of construction going on in Dubai. Wherever there's construction, you will see desert sand because they put the cement over desert sand. But naturally, the land is desert sand, so you will see. So I love walking over the desert sand. I was like, wow, I'm actually my shoes on. I'm walking on desert sand right now, man. It's so cool. I'm walking over desert. I found it so cool. The desert sand took me by shock. Seeing actual desert sand drove me crazy. I can't even explain the feeling. I know most people wouldn't understand or wouldn't give a shit, but when I saw desert sand, I went crazy. All these romantic feelings started flowing through me, seeing this desert sand. This natural, this nature that we didn't have in North America or Colombia. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, like